Listen carefully, because this message is not here to entertain you, it is here to warn you, and if you feel even a small discomfort while hearing this, that means it is meant for you, because somewhere deep inside you already know that you are not living the life you were supposed to live, you are just surviving inside it, passing days, killing time, and telling yourself that someday things will change. But the truth you don't want to face is that someday never comes unless you make it, and every single day you wait, your future becomes smaller while your regrets grow larger, and time does not care about your excuses, it does not pause because you are scared, tired, or confused, it just keeps moving forward, quietly and mercilessly, taking your chances with it. And the most dangerous thing is that you don't even notice it happening, because wasting life feels comfortable, it feels normal, it feels like just another day, until one day you wake up and realize that years have disappeared and nothing meaningful has been built, and that is the moment when people feel a pain deeper than any failure, the pain of knowing they had potential but never used it. And that pain is what this message is trying to save you from, because right now you still have something priceless, you still have time, energy, and the ability to choose differently, but that window will not stay open forever, and if you keep living on autopilot, scrolling, watching, waiting, and hoping, you will slowly become a spectator in your own life, watching other people grow, succeed, and move forward while you remain stuck in the same place, wondering why nothing changes, and the answer will always be the same, because nothing changes when you don't change, and you might think your habits are small, your procrastination is harmless, and your distractions don't matter, but they are shaping your future right now. Because your future is not built in one big decision, it is built in thousands of tiny choices you make every day, whether to get up or stay in bed, whether to work or waste time, whether to face fear or avoid it. And those choices are writing the story of your life even when you are not paying attention, and if you don't take control of them, you will wake up in a future you never wanted, and no one will be to blame but you, and that sounds harsh, but it is also empowering, because it means you are not helpless, you are just underusing your power, and the moment you stop lying to yourself, the moment you stop saying, "I'll do it later," and start saying, "I'll do it now," everything begins to shift, because action breaks fear, discipline builds confidence. And effort creates opportunities, and you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be consistent, because consistency beats talent, luck, and motivation every single time, and the people you admire are not special, they are just people who decided to stop wasting their days and start using them, and you can do the same, but you have to be willing to feel uncomfortable, to struggle, to fail, and to keep going anyway, because growth is not supposed to be easy. It is supposed to be worth it, and this is your warning that if you keep choosing comfort over growth, your future will be full of what-ifs, should-haves, and regrets, but if you choose discipline, focus, and courage right now, your future will be filled with pride, confidence, and freedom, and that is the choice in front of you at this exact moment, not tomorrow, not next week, not someday, but now, because now is all you truly have, and how you use it will decide who you become. Right now you are standing in the most dangerous place a human being can stand, and that place is not failure, not pain, not struggle, it is comfort, because comfort slowly turns your life into something small without you even noticing it, and the reason it is so dangerous is because it feels safe, it feels familiar, it feels like nothing is wrong, but underneath that safety something terrible is happening. Your potential is being slowly buried, your hunger is fading, your dreams are getting quieter, and your life is becoming smaller, not because you are incapable, but because you are not pushing yourself, and the scariest part is that you don't even realize it while it's happening, because nothing explodes, nothing collapses, nothing forces you to wake up, you just drift, day after day, doing the same things, thinking the same thoughts, making the same excuses. And one day you wake up and realize that years have gone by and nothing has changed, and that moment hits harder than any failure ever could, because failure hurts for a while, but regret lasts forever, and the tragedy is that you are not running out of talent, you are running out of time, and time does not warn you when it is about to be gone. It just disappears quietly while you are busy being distracted, while you are scrolling, while you are waiting, while you are telling yourself that you will start when things feel easier, when you feel more confident, when life slows down, but life never slows down, it only speeds up, and if you do not learn to move with it, it will leave you behind. And this is why so many people feel lost as they get older, because they did not move when they were young enough to take risks, to fail, to rebuild, and now the weight of responsibility, fear, and routine makes everything harder, and deep inside you know this is true, because you already feel the pressure of time, even if you try to ignore it, you feel that quiet panic when you realize another month is gone, another year is gone, and you are still in the same place, still making the same excuses, still telling yourself that you will change soon, but soon keeps getting pushed further and further away, and the more you delay, the more power you give to fear, because fear grows when you don't face it, and every time you avoid what you know you should do, you are teaching your brain that fear is in control, and that is how people become trapped in lives they do not want, not because they are weak, but because they train themselves to avoid discomfort, and discomfort is the doorway to every great thing you will ever achieve, because nothing meaningful is built inside comfort. Confidence is built by doing hard things. Strength is built by pushing through resistance, and self-respect is built by keeping promises to yourself. But when you keep breaking those promises, when you keep saying you will start and then don't, something inside you begins to die. You stop trusting yourself, you stop believing in your own words, and once you stop believing in yourself, everything becomes harder. Because now it is not just the world you are fighting, it is your own doubt, and this is the invisible damage of procrastination. It does not just delay your success, it destroys your identity, it turns you into someone who does not follow through, someone who dreams but never does. And that is a painful way to live, because you can never escape the feeling that you are betraying your own potential. And no amount of entertainment, comfort, or distraction can silence that voice forever. It always comes back, usually late at night, when everything is quiet, when you are alone with your thoughts, and you feel that emptiness, that question of, is this really all my life is going to be? And that question is not meant to torture you, it is meant to wake you up. But most people push it away, because waking up means changing, and changing means letting go of the version of yourself that feels familiar, even if that version is unhappy, and this is the cruel paradox of the human mind. We cling to what hurts us because at least it is known, and we fear what could save us because it is unknown, and so we stay stuck, not because we have to, but because we are afraid to step into a different identity, afraid to be the person who tries, who risks, who fails, who gets back up. And that fear costs you everything, because the person you could have become is slowly disappearing with every day you choose not to act, and one day you will realize that the life you wanted is no longer possible, not because you are incapable, but because you waited too long, and that is the most brutal truth, because time is the only enemy you cannot fight, you cannot negotiate with it, you cannot beg it to give you another chance, you can only use it or waste it. And right now you are either investing it into the future you want or throwing it away on habits that give you nothing in return, and if you are honest with yourself, you know which one you have been doing, and this message is not here to make you feel guilty, it is here to make you aware, because awareness is the first step to taking back control, and control is what you have been missing, because when you are distracted, when you are drifting, when you are reacting instead of deciding, you are not in control of your life. You are just being carried by it, and that is how people wake up. In lives they never chose, in jobs they hate, in routines that drain them, wondering how they got there, and the answer is always the same, they got there by not choosing, by letting time and fear decide for them, and you still have the chance to do something different, but that chance will not wait forever, and the longer you stay comfortable, the harder it will be to move, because habits become chains, and chains become prisons, and prisons become lives people feel trapped inside, and the saddest thing is that most of those prisons have the door unlocked, but people are too afraid to walk through it, because freedom requires responsibility, and responsibility means you cannot blame anyone else for where you end up, and that is terrifying, but it is also powerful, because it means you can change everything if you are willing to take that responsibility, and that starts with one brutal truth, that where you are right now is not fate, it is the result of what you have been doing. And if you do something different, you will become someone different, but you have to stop lying to yourself, stop saying you will start later, stop pretending you don't have time, because you do have time, you just choose to spend it on things that do not build the future you want, and that choice is costing you more than you realize, and this is your warning that if you keep choosing the same easy path, you will get the same hard life, and the only way out is through discipline, focus, and the courage to do what is uncomfortable, because uncomfortable is where growth lives, and growth is what makes life worth living. One day, without warning, you will wake up and feel a strange heaviness in your chest, and it will not come from something that just happened. It will come from everything that did not happen, from all the chances you avoided, all the risks you were too afraid to take, all the versions of yourself that never got a chance to exist because you kept choosing comfort over courage, and that day will hit harder than any failure ever could, because failure at least means you tried, but regret means you stayed still while your life slowly slipped away. And the scariest part is that you will not even be able to point to one big mistake that ruined everything, because it was not one big mistake, it was thousands of small ones, every time you said you would start tomorrow, every time you stayed in bed instead of getting up, every time you chose distraction over discipline, every time you ignored that quiet voice inside you that was begging you to do more, to be more. And those small moments added up to a life that feels unfinished, and most people do not realize this while it is happening, because wasting life looks harmless, it looks like relaxing, it looks like just another day, but in reality it is the slowest form of self-destruction, because you are not destroying your body, you are destroying your future, and the future does not fight back. It just waits for you to notice it is gone, and when you finally do, it hurts in a way nothing else does, because you realize that no one stole your life from you, you gave it away one comfortable choice at a time, and that is the hardest truth to accept, because it means you are responsible for both your suffering and your potential, and most people would rather believe they are unlucky than admit they were afraid, but fear is what holds almost everyone back, fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of not being good enough, and so they hide inside routines that keep them safe but small, and they call that living, but it is not living, it is surviving, and surviving is not what you were born for. You were born to grow, to build, to explore what you are capable of, and the tragedy is that you will never know what you could have been if you never push yourself beyond what is comfortable, and right now you still have that chance, but it will not be there forever, and this message is your warning that if you do not start choosing growth over comfort now, you will one day be forced to live with the weight of what might have been, and that weight is heavier than any struggle you are avoiding right now, so do not wait for that day to wake you up, because by then it will be too late to become the person you were meant to be, but today it is not. Today you can still decide to fight for your future, and that decision, made right now, can change everything. There is a war happening inside you right now, even if you do not feel it clearly, even if you try to ignore it, even if you bury it under distractions and excuses, and this war is not against the world, it is not against other people, it is against yourself, against the part of you that knows you were meant for more and the part of you that is afraid to become more. And every single day this battle is being fought quietly in your choices, not in dramatic moments but in ordinary ones, when you wake up and decide whether to get out of bed or hit snooze, when you decide whether to work on your future or waste another hour, when you choose discipline or comfort, and these moments seem small, but they are not small at all, because they are slowly shaping the kind of person you are becoming, and most people do not realize this until it is too late, because the change is invisible at first. You do not wake up one day and suddenly become weak, unmotivated, or stuck, it happens gradually. Through repetition, through habits, through choices that feel harmless in the moment but destructive over time, and that is why this war is so dangerous, because you can lose it without ever noticing you are losing, and the side that is winning inside you right now is the side you keep feeding, and if you keep feeding fear, laziness, procrastination, and distraction, those things grow stronger, and they begin to control you. And when they control you, your life begins to shrink, not because you lack potential, but because you are not using it, and that is the most painful way to live, to know you are capable of more but feel unable to reach it, and the truth is you are not unable, you are just untrained, because willpower, discipline, and focus are muscles, and muscles only grow when you use them, and most people never use them. They avoid discomfort, they avoid effort, they avoid failure, and in doing so they avoid growth. And what they do not realize is that avoiding growth does not make life easier, it makes it harder, because when you do not grow, the world still demands more from you, responsibilities increase, expectations rise, time moves forward, and if you have not built the strength to meet those demands, you feel overwhelmed, stuck, and powerless, and this is why so many people feel like life is crushing them, not because life is unfair, but because they did not prepare themselves for it, and preparation does not come from wishing, it comes from doing hard things, from facing resistance, from pushing through discomfort, and this is the part of the war you keep running from, because doing hard things is uncomfortable. It forces you to confront your limits, your fears, and your doubts, and that is scary, but what is even scarier is never confronting them and letting them control your entire life, and deep down you know this. You know there are things you should be doing right now, habits you should be building, skills you should be learning, actions you should be taking, but instead of doing them, you delay. You distract yourself, you tell yourself you will start tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year, and then one day you realize that your life has been built by those delays, by those moments of avoidance, and the future you are living in is not the one you wanted, but the one you settled for. And settling is the silent killer of dreams, because it feels like acceptance. But it is actually surrender, surrender to fear, surrender to comfort, surrender to the weaker version of yourself, and that weaker version will always try to convince you that this is fine, that you do not need to push yourself, that you can always change later, but later is a lie, because later never comes unless you create it, and the stronger version of you, the one that wants to grow, to build, to achieve, is getting quieter every time you ignore it, and that is why this message feels intense, because it is speaking to that stronger part of you that is tired of being ignored, tired of being silenced by excuses, tired of watching your life drift by, and that part of you is not weak, it is just outnumbered, because you have been feeding the wrong side of the war. And the only way to change that is to start choosing differently, not in huge dramatic ways, but in small consistent ones. Because every time you choose to do what is hard instead of what is easy, you weaken the side of you that wants to stay stuck and strengthen the side of you that wants to grow, and over time that balance shifts, and suddenly what once felt impossible becomes normal. What once felt hard becomes habit, and what once felt scary becomes exciting, and this is how people transform their lives, not through one big decision, but through thousands of small ones, and this is why this war matters so much. Because you are not just deciding what you will do today, you are deciding who you will be tomorrow. And the person you become will either look back and thank you or resent you, and that future version of you is closer than you think, watching you right now, hoping you will stop running from this battle and start fighting for the life you know you deserve, because no one else can fight it for you, no one else can make you disciplined, focused, or brave. That is a choice you have to make. And it is a choice you have to make again and again, every single day, and it will never be easy, but it will always be worth it, because the pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret lasts forever, and if you do not face this war now, it will face you later, when your time is shorter, your energy is lower, and your chances are fewer, and that is a battle you do not want to fight. So this is your warning: stop running, stop hiding, stop choosing comfort over growth. Because your future is being decided right now, and every moment you hesitate is a moment. There is a price you are paying right now that you do not see yet, and that price is not money, it is not effort, it is not even pain, it is time. And time is the most expensive thing you will ever lose, because once it is gone, no amount of regret, no amount of wishing, no amount of praying can bring it back, and every day you delay, every hour you waste, every moment you choose comfort over growth. You are spending your life without realizing what it is truly worth, and the tragedy is that most people do not realize how much they have lost until they have almost nothing left to change, because waiting feels harmless. It feels like you are giving yourself a break, but in reality you are giving up your future one day at a time, and deep down you know there are things you should be doing right now, steps you should be taking, habits you should be building, but instead you are waiting for motivation, for confidence, for the right mood. And those things do not come to people who wait. They come to people who act, because action creates clarity, action creates confidence, and action creates momentum, and without momentum you stay stuck, and being stuck slowly becomes your identity, and that is the most dangerous thing of all, because once you start seeing yourself as someone who does not follow through, someone who always delays, someone who never finishes what they start, you begin to live up to that story. And stories are powerful, they shape how you see yourself and what you believe is possible, and if the story you tell yourself is that you are behind, unlucky, or incapable, you will act in ways that make that story true. And this is how people trap themselves in lives they do not want, not because they are broken, but because they never challenged the story they were living inside. And this message is here to challenge it, to remind you that the life you want is not waiting for you somewhere in the future. It is waiting for you in the actions you are avoiding right now, and every time you choose to wait, you are choosing to stay the same. And staying the same might feel safe, but it is slowly costing you everything you could become, and one day you will realize that the biggest mistake you ever made was not that you failed, but that you waited, and by the time you were ready, so much time had already been lost, and this is your warning that you do not get unlimited chances. You do not get unlimited years, you do not get unlimited energy. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes to start, so do not let another day slip away, because the cost of waiting is a future you will never get to live. There is a version of you that exists only in possibility, a stronger, wiser, more confident version, a version that knows how to focus, how to work, how to stand tall when life becomes hard. And that version of you is slowly fading every time you choose not to act, because potential is not permanent, it must be used or it disappears, and this is the truth most people never face. That if you do not grow into who you could become, you will slowly shrink into who you are afraid to be, and the shrinking does not happen all at once, it happens through small acts of avoidance. Every time you do not try, every time you quit early, every time you tell yourself it is too late or too hard, and these moments teach your mind that you are someone who backs down, and once you start believing that, you begin to live smaller, you take fewer risks, you dream less, and eventually you forget what you were ever capable of. And that is a kind of death, not of the body, but of the spirit. And people who live that way are alive, but they are not truly living, they are just passing time until it runs out, and the worst part is that they know something is missing, they feel it in their chest, in their restlessness, in their dissatisfaction, but they do not know how to fix it, because the only way to fix it is to do the very things they have been avoiding, to step into discomfort, to take responsibility.